What is up, guys? James here from the Light of Riga YouTube channel, and in this video we're going to be doing a reading for all my Leo sun sign friends. If you were born between the dates of July 23rd and August 22nd, then you are a Leo sun sign, and this video is for you. Today we're going to be doing a month ahead look for Leo sun signs for the month of July. This spread is going to tell us what the past, present, and future energies are concerning you at this time, what you can hold on to, what you should let go of, obstacles you're going to face, and lessons you're going to learn in the month of July. It's going to tell us all about what to look forward to in the upcoming month, and we're going to be using the Super 8-Bit Tarot. I love this tarot deck. I've done a deck review on it on my channel if you want to go check that out, but it's a 8-bit themed Nintendo style nostalgic deck that's it's very lovely, but it doesn't hold any punches. So we're going to use this today, and if you would, please just give me a moment to ask the tarot cards the question: what can Leo sun signs expect for the month of July? That should do it. We'll cut the deck. Here we go. Alright, and then we're also going to draw a card from the Nature's Whispers Oracle, and we're going to ask this deck the question: what message do we have for Leos in the month of July? What message do Leos need to know for the month of July? And we will look at that card at the end, okay? Alright, let's see what we've got here. First thing I'm noticing, I got some Wands energy. A lot of Wands energy, it seems like. We got a couple major arcana, so yeah, let's get into it one by one. Nothing too crazy going on here, but we'll see as we get into it. The first card we're going to look at is the Ten of Wands, and this card represents the energies of last month, the energies of June. And I'm getting the feeling that June was a very difficult month for Leo. I get the feeling that you guys had just a lot of things stacked on your plate. You were feeling overwhelmed. You're feeling just kind of like defeated. Maybe not. Maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration, because defeated implies that you can't get back up. But no, that's not the case. It's more like that June was just a very testing month for you. You guys had a lot on your plate. You guys were a lot of energy coming in from different angles, and it might have been a little bit too much for you guys to handle, and you guys kind of maybe got burnt out. This is a general overall reading. It's going to apply to people differently, so don't expect everything to apply to you, but for the most part, I'm getting the feeling that Leos were feeling just overexhausted and stretched beyond their means for the month of June. So I think moving now into this present energy, this is the King of Wands, and it represents the current energies. I'm getting the sense now that you guys are starting to get a grasp on what's going on. You're starting to get a handle on it. In fact, you've gone the opposite direction, whereas in June, I get the feeling that a lot of you were feeling deflated. Now, currently at the end of June here, in the beginning of July, I'm getting the sense that a lot of you are feeling more empowered, and you're feeling like the exact opposite of how you felt last month. And yeah, I'm getting the feeling that you guys are in control now. You're starting to, maybe you've come out of that period and you learned your lesson, whatever lesson you were meant to learn, and now you're feeling like a king, like you got things figured out, like you know what to do now, and you know which action to take and which actions are gonna create the best results for you in your life. So you're feeling more confident now and more directed, and definitely not feeling as overwhelmed, is the sense I'm getting from this card. Moving into July, we've got the Knight of Swords. This represents the energies of July, and I think this card is saying that in July is going to be time for you to kind of act on your ideas, and act on, just be more communicative and more expressive, and put more action into your ideas. You're going to be letting people know how you feel, and I think that's a great thing. You guys, like I said, you're coming out of this hard, difficult time, and now I get the sense that July is going to be a time for you to express yourself, and a time for you to come out of your shell. Not that you were in a shell necessarily, but I get the feeling that you guys were kind of just so inundated with stuff that it was hard to really truly express yourself and be yourself. So now I get the sense that July is more of a return to normal, more of a time for you to break out of that negative space that some of you might have been in, and really get back to being you and doing what you do, and just being one of those enigmatic forces in the world, right? So I'm seeing a positive change moving towards July that's gonna really get you guys back on the right track. So July seems like it's gonna be a great month for you guys, and considering what you're coming from, I think it's gonna be a great month, actually. Okay, this card here represents what you need to hold on to for the month of July. We've got the High Priestess. This card is telling me that you guys need to maybe self-reflect a little bit more. What caused this? Why did you in June feel so overwhelmed? And this card here is asking you to analyze it and go inwardly and see what's happened, and kind of study what happened and study yourself a little bit more and be a little bit more introspective. This means meditation, whatever that means for you. I mean, there's different forms of meditation. You can meditate in so many different ways. You don't just have to sit under a banyan tree, right? There's many different ways to meditate, but whatever brings you closer to your higher self, whatever brings you closer to your soul, I think that's something that's going to be beneficial for you guys in the month of July, so that you can kind of analyze what's going on with you, and so you're not so in the dark, you're not oblivious to your true motivations, your true calling, and that you understand yourself better. So that's going to take a time of self-reflection, a time of introspection, so that you are not so willy-nilly with your thoughts, feelings, actions, and words, so that you're more in control of who you are and you understand where you're headed. Okay, so that's what this card is saying, is to hold on to that desire to meditate, basically to self-analyze and understand. Okay, this card here represents your biggest hurdle for the month of July. We've got the Eight of Cups. I'm getting the feeling here that a lot of you are going to be seeking out something new. The Eight of Cups is all about feeling a type of way and saying, I don't like that feeling anymore. I'm gonna turn my back on it. I'm gonna go search out for something new. So yeah, I'm getting the sense that that's gonna be an obstacle for a lot of you, is that you're gonna kind of feel not bored. Well, it could be bored for some of you. For some of you, it might be bored, but kind of dissatisfied with the current state of things. And this might cause you to be lazy. It might cause you to do something rash. It might cause you to act out emotionally, just because you're kind of not happy with the state of things. And I think that's gonna be a challenge for you guys, is to I think some of you are going to have to live with your situation. Others of you are going to have to make the decision to leave your situation or change your situation in some way, so that you find satisfaction from it. For me personally, it's all a matter of how you think about it. And if you change the way you think about your situation, you are changing your situation. So the situation itself doesn't need to change for it to change. If you know what I'm saying, did that make sense? I think that makes sense. It makes sense in my mind, okay? Like, for instance, this is a bad example, okay? But let's say you have a 1-year prison sentence, and you look at that situation. There's no getting out of it. You have to do it. And a person who sees it negatively is going to be like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna get beat up. This is going to be the worst year of my life. I'm going to just, it's going to be hell on earth. But a person who sees it positively says, oh, okay, I suddenly have all this time to improve myself. I can get better at writing. I can get better at chess. I can get better at my people skills. I have a chance to spend a whole year working on myself without any outside influences. And just like that, you've turned a 1-year prison sentence into an opportunity rather than a burden. Okay, that's sort of what I'm saying with that. Anyway, moving on to the next card. This is what you should let go of for the month of July. We've got the Five of Wands. Let go of the fighting, let go of the friction and the conflict. And when I think of this card, oftentimes I think of conflict with other people, and just allowing other people to. Everyone's got a different opinion. Everyone's got different ideas, and if you're gonna be, asserting the point that your idea is better or your idea is more right than another idea, then you're always going to be fighting, and it's going to cause conflict, and it's going to be a bad situation for you. No, that doesn't help anybody, right? So this card A is telling me that you should be more accepting of other people and more accepting of the fact that you have a unique viewpoint, and your viewpoint is unique and special and valid, but so is the person next to you, and just trying to impose your will on another person is not going to help, okay? So that's what A, but also B, I'm getting the feeling from this card that you need to remove the inner conflict, the conflict that lives inside of you, the conflict with yourself. And a lot of us are just fighting ourselves internally. And again, this goes back to meditation. That's a great way to fix it, to go inward and understand our inner workings so that we're not fighting with ourselves. So this card is saying to stop fighting in general. Stop fighting with yourself. Stop fighting with others. Get rid of that for the month of July. You don't need it this month. You don't need it any month, but especially in the month of July, there's going to be a little bit of friction, I'm getting the sense. And so you're going to need to view things from a more optimistic viewpoint so that you're not so willing to fight, right? This card here, the star, represents the energy of people around you for the month of July. And the star is about openness. I'm getting the feeling that the people around you are going to be stellar. They're going to be open. They're going to be willing to accept your changes. Like I said, there might be some change coming for some of you. And they're going to be willing to accept your changes. They're going to be willing to understand you, and it takes effort to understand somebody, and I get the feeling that the people in your life are going to take that effort. They're going to try to understand you. They're going to be there for you. They're going to be there for you to talk to, and they're not going to be too judgmental. They're going to be open. Now, this is the overall general energy of the people in your life. It's not going to apply to every person in your life, but for an overall general energy, I get the feeling that people in your life are going to be very open and very honest with you, and they're going to be there for you to really bounce ideas off of and give you an honest feedback as far as giving their opinions on things. They're going to be honest and open, so that's great. All right, this last card here represents your biggest lesson that you have to learn in July, and we have the Queen of Wands. Just a second. I'm getting a lot of wand energy, and Leo, I think of fire, I think of wands, I think Leo, right? So the feeling I'm getting from this card right now is that your biggest lesson is that you need to really put action into the world from a place of love and compassion and absolute desire. A lot of the times we do things just because society wants us to do things, or the people in our life want us to do things, right? And we kind of are led around at the whims of others, but this card is saying that the action that you put into this world should be taken from a place of pure love and compassion and creativity, rather than doing things for others. That's not the best way to say that. Rather, doing things because of others. You should do things because that is what your heart is led to do. Help others, do things for others, but do those things because that's what you love to do, right? So this card is saying in the month of July, you really need to follow your passions and put effort into your passions. Put that work into your passions. Direct that energy. There's a lot of energy swirling around here, and it needs to go somewhere. And instead of putting it into silly places, this card is saying to put it into that which you love the most, and do it from a heart-based perspective, okay? So let's take a look at this spread now that we've seen all the cards, and it gives us an overall impression. Like I said, the month of June was kind of a difficult month. I'm getting very, very busy, very overwhelming, and maybe a lot of your energies were drained. But I think that came to an end. That was a culmination of a lot of stuff, and it finally has come to an end. And as you're seeing now in your lives, I think a lot of you are regaining your control over it, and you're starting to be more kingly, right? You're starting to be more on top of things. You understand what it was for, or at least you're trying to, and now you got a good grasp of things right now. So now that you've done that, now that you've gone through that phase and you've conquered it, now it's time to take what you learned from that phase, and in July you're going to put effort into what you learned, and you're going to take the lessons that you learned and you're going to express them. I'm getting the feeling of expression. This month is going to be a month of just expressing yourself, your ideas, your thoughts, your opinions. And that's going to be great, because I feel like you were kind of quiet the last month because you were just dealing with so much stuff, right? Okay, so what you should hold on to, though, is the willingness to go inside and spend some time in meditation, spend some time analyzing yourself and learning about yourself, because there is still a lot to learn, even though that you've conquered this last cycle. I think there's still a lot to learn, and you're not going to learn it if you don't go inside, if you don't ask yourself the questions that you need to ask yourself. So hold on to that. Don't be afraid to self-analyze this month, because it's going to help you greatly. The biggest hurdle is going to be the desire to change something, because you're not entirely emotionally fulfilled by it. And this is always a difficult time for yourself and for others as you go through transformations. But it's going to be a hurdle for you. It's going to be difficult, but realize that, like I said, you can change a situation just by changing your thoughts about it. And suddenly your entire reality will change. Remember the prison analogy I made, okay? So, yeah, maybe some of you will be drawn to changing your situation physically, but I would encourage you guys to first change the way you look at it, the way you perceive it, and see if that doesn't help things greatly. What you need to let go of is the fighting, both external and internal. Don't, allow people to have their opinions and allow yourself to have yours, and no one is better than the other, even if your ego logic mind says so. Don't worry about it. They're coming from a different perspective, a different place, and they don't have the knowledge that you have, and you don't have the knowledge that they have, so there's no telling who's actually right. So just stop fighting with people. It's not going to gain you anything. And also stop fighting with yourself. If you do go inside, if you do ask yourself the right questions, I think that's going to minimize, that's going to reduce the amount of fighting, the internal conflict that you have with yourself, because you're going to understand yourself better. So that's one way to do it. This card is saying definitely self-analyze and understand yourself a little bit better. The people around you are going to be great. They're going to be full of joy. They're going to be there for you. They're going to be open. They're going to be honest. They're going to be there to answer your questions in an honest way. And so use them as a sounding board this month. If you have any questions, or if you want an honest opinion, I think the people around you are willing to give it to you right now. They probably sense that you're going through a tough time, and they're going to be there for you now. So use them if you need them, and they will be there for you. But the biggest lesson this month is to put your action in. Make sure what you're doing, the actions you're doing this month, are in alignment with your highest goals, your highest dreams, and they're coming from your heart rather than your ego mind, so that you're living from a heart-based perspective. And that's what this card is asking you to do today. It's saying, in the month of July, you're going to put work into what you want, but make sure that what you want is something that you love. Okay, now before we go, we had a message from the Nature's Whispers Oracle. And we asked it what the message is for Leos in the month of July, and we have make a wish. Oh, yeah, I'm getting the sense that, in conjunction with this reading, I'm getting the feeling that you guys went through a cycle. And by cycle, I mean, it was the culmination of a lot of things that kind of culminated in almost near a breakdown, but you got through it. And now you're ready to start anew and begin again. And before you can begin again, I think it's very important that you set your clear intentions. Make a wish for what you want to happen now. This is number 1 in the deck. So this is about the start of a new cycle. And in order to start a new cycle, you have to have an intention of where you want it to go. Maybe the last cycle that you went through, you didn't set an intention, and that's why it kind of culminated in a little bit of pain. But now that you're starting anew, starting fresh, make sure that you set a clear intention of what you want from your life, what you desire, so that you're manifesting from a place of with a plan. Basically, you got a plan, and you know where you're going, so that the journey to get there is still going to be rough, but at least you can see the finish line and you know where that's leading. Okay. So make a wish, whatever you want it to be. Set your dream, set your intention for what your dream is, what you want to accomplish next, and it will come true, as long as you know that it will come true. Okay, guys, that's going to be the reading for today. I hope you enjoyed that. If you want a personalized reading where I tap into your specific energies, then head on over to my Etsy shop. And we got a whole bunch of readings over there, including this one, if you want to do this reading for you personally. So I hope you guys will go check that out. Link in the card. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. If you got something out of it, it tells me that I'm doing something right. Consider leaving a comment in the comment section below if you have any questions, or if you want clarification, or if you just want to say anything about this reading. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. And also consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video, because I release these videos pretty regularly and you don't want to miss out. Okay, guys, I really appreciate you coming and watching this video, and I hope you got something out of it. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. Happy taroting. Peace.